Come along with us as we visit Mother Neff State Park. We're really going to immerse ourselves in the park and visit all the points of interest. And of course, it wouldn't be us if we didn't go around and check out what the towns around us had to offer. So we're going to go into Waco, visit Union Hall, do a little thrifting, and making many wonderful memories. So come join us. Mother Neff State Park is in a town called Moody. It is southwest of Waco, and it's one of the first Texas state parks. There was a woman named Isabella Neff, and she donated the original 6 acres in 1921. And since then, many people have discovered that it's such a special place. When you first drive into the entrance to the park, they have this beautiful deck that just overlooks the park. And you go inside and they have the coolest museum slash gift shop. So come along, I'm going to take you on a little tour. Mother Neff donated the land in 1921, but the park was officially established in 1937 through her son, who was also the governor at the time, named Pat Neff. The Leon River has flooded the lower end of the park multiple times in recent years, but a new camping loop and visitor center opened in 2015, and they are above the floodplain, so now the park can remain open even when the riverfront areas are flooded. And you can explore the interactive displays at the visitor center, and you can learn more about Central Texas and its rich history. This park is very popular for the day use crowd, and you can explore nearly 3.5 miles of trails for beginners to the more experienced trekkers. There are lots of armadillos and snakes and different types of rocks. When we go explore the Tonkawa Cave, that is a rock overhang that was used as shelter by early Native Americans. And the Rock Tower is a historic structure. It offers views of the park. It used to be a water tower. If you do visit this park, please take time to stop by the visitor center and learn all the really cool history about this place. The playground at this park is so cool. I've never seen anything like this. Of course, you're greeted by a giant armadillo, but everything looks very old school. And when I'm saying old school, I'm meaning like back in the prairie days. Like everything looks like it's made out of wood. And then, of course, anybody who's born in my generation knows who that is. Smokey the Bear, shout out. The only thing that I saw that was not wood was the bench that we just passed, and these slides here, which are set on the hill, so that's kind of cool for the kids. The Prairie Restoration Initiative is a prairie project that's an effort to restore and conserve the natural prairie landscape within the park. The Girl Scouts of Central Texas, they held a Prairie Restoration Project event at the park in September of 2025, demonstrating community involvement and conservation. We are staying in Site 19. This is how close we are to our neighbor who's in a pull-through. This is the other side of our camper. Closest neighbor and their dog over there. Those dogs are saying hi to y'all. Waldo's not having it. Now I'm at the back of the site, and this is one of the nicest camping spots I've ever seen. With all this gravel, you've got a picnic table over here. There's my sweet thing. A little fire pit. And there's a lot of butterflies here too. That sky looks beautiful tonight. We missed the sunset, sadly, but we'll catch it tomorrow. What is it, Waldo? For breakfast the next morning, we fried up these sage sausages. We made a little bit of ground sausage to put in our egg bites, and then just made a couple of patties to eat on the side. I decided to put a little bit of my Starbucks pumpkin frappuccino into my coffee as creamer, as well as the cinnamon coffee cake. And as usual, it was delicious. This Vampire Slayer cheese is no joke. We love this stuff. The garlic is so strong, and we're going to put this in our egg bites. Corey prepped all the ingredients for the egg bites at home. We just didn't want to haul a bunch of eggs here, so we just put the vegetables in and a little bit of creamer, heavy whipping cream, and then now all we're doing is adding the fried sausage. Next, we add this to the egg bite maker and let it do its thing. We try to put some of the solid ingredients first and then pour some of the egg on there so it will be evenly distributed. And now we wait. Off topic, but Olivia likes to watch Gilmore Girls. And is it just me, or does Lorelai look just like Taylor Swift? I'm over here tripping. I think this is our second time ever to use our oven on the camper. The hash brown sticks are done. The egg bites are steamed. I like them a little toasted. And breakfast is served. Look at all this sausage. This was absolutely delicious. Now that our belly is full and we're feeling energized, it's time to go view the rock tower. This was a pretty decent walk, and I'm saying this because I have not only advanced arthritis in both of my knees, but because of my previous fall, I'm even in worse shape. So there are some rocks. There is a section with barbed wire fence, so make sure that if you've got pets or little ones, or even if you're just clumsy like I am, be very, very careful. There's also going to be a lot of signs along the way for you to look at and see the different flowers, the different types of grass and whatnot. Corey's such a gentleman. There was a big overgrowth that he pushed aside so I could walk through. Although the walk is pretty easy, there are a couple of benches along the way in case you need to rest your feet. I do believe that one of the park rangers told us there is a shortcut to the tower, and this is it right here. And here is a cool bird blind area. I really wanted to catch the sunrise from this tower. I hear that it's really epic, as well as the sunsets. But I'm not trying to walk in the dark when there's reports of tons of snakes at this park. The view of the skyline was absolutely breathtaking. There was a lot of brush to kind of obstruct the view of everything else. But overall, it was a nice little walk. We had a great time. We met some nice people up at the top and chit-chatted with them for a bit. They had a beautiful dog, and they were kind enough to take our picture.
It doesn't look like that long of a trail if you want to try it.
But like you said, we're getting further from the car.
Yeah, you'll have to double back.
Or is it a loop?
See,
is it a loop?
We parked here. This is where we walked.
Okay.
And the cave's right here.
I do believe that there are shortcuts to the different points of interest. However, some of them might involve some rock climbing, and again, with my banged up knees, I just was looking for a flat trail. I think all the points of interest are one big loop, but now we're driving over to the wash pond, and as you're about to see, there are some rocks. Now this part's a little bit confusing because I think there are two ponds at this park. The wash pond is an oasis that I believe is spring fed, and I think people back in the day, the Indians, used to wash their clothes here, and over time, as you can see, it hasn't rained in a while, so the pond was a little bit low. We'll be sure to check out the other pond tomorrow. Next, we drove over to the Tonkawa Cave. It is hard to believe that this was a shelter for people 200 years ago. The good news is, although there are a lot of rocks, there was a handrail for me to hang on for dear life. It reminded me a lot of Hamilton Pool in Austin, if you've ever been there. Just kind of the way the cave overhangs, but there is no water here. This is not a true cave, but more of a shelter that the Indians used back in the day for hunting, but it does feel really cool when you go down here. We did find another set of stairs. We tried to go up and see where that led to, but it just led to the road. There are supposed to be a lot of baby armadillos that hang out down here. I don't know if because it's so much cooler than it is at the top of the overhang, but we didn't see any. After resting for a little bit, it's time to go explore. Just gonna lay on top of it. It's too hot to get in there. We made a stop at Valley Mills Vineyards. After all those steps I climbed, this place wanted me to climb a whole lot more steps. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Let's go to Waco. We wanted to go check out Union Hall, which is kind of like an indoor food court with a bunch of different vendors, and we did a lot of research online. Lots of good stuff to choose from. This is supposed to be a European style food court with 20 global vendors. And I believe it used to be a public school back in the day in 1874, so it is a historic building, and it's very cool. Pets are not allowed in the venue, but there is a nice covered patio for them to wait while you go order your food. Of course, Olivia had to stop off and order her matcha tea. They also had ramen noodles. I was going to order that at the Blasian Asian and take that to go and have it for dinner tonight, but then I thought, the noodles probably would be like too soggy, so I just passed on that. They got cookie dough ice cream, edible cookie dough, tacos. Also have a sit-down bar and pizzeria, po' boys, mac and cheese bar, you name it, they've got it here. After eating a big lunch, we decided to go do some thrifting. Olivia was on the hunt for some CDs, and I was more window shopping. I belong to a community group on Facebook in my neighborhood where people give things away for free. I get handmade quilts, afghans, all the things you see here. I get vintage serving dishes, and oh, I love this. It looks so much like the afghan on the back of the couch on Roseanne. But I get all this stuff for free. That's not a flex. I'm just saying I have a hard time spending money on any of this because even secondhand stuff seems to be really expensive now. I guess because it's so trendy on TikTok or whatever. But I enjoy looking around. Although I obtain a lot of nice gifts on our community page on Facebook, I also give away a lot of stuff. I'm in the process of decluttering and downsizing. We plan to RV full-time in the next couple of years, so we're going to be moving on to a 40-foot RV, and I need to get rid of a lot of stuff in my house, so that page on Facebook is a great group to do that, but I also like to obtain a couple of things to put in storage for our next house, because we're only going to RV for a couple of years. We're going to travel around the country, find a place that we want to set up roots, and we plan to document our journey along the way. After a long day, Waldo is crashed out. I found him in the corner, laying on one of his toy sloths that's bigger than him. What did you think of Union Hall today?
What I had, catfish at a Cajun place, was really, really good. My catfish was special. It was $8, and I got really good fries, tater, and hush puppies, and I got a beer for $8, a big beer.
And Olivia got buffalo chicken fries. It was good, but when I found out how much he spent on it, I would have never in a million years let him spend that much on my lunch. But for a kid's cheeseburger and about 4 or 5 onion rings and a bottled water, it was like $17 or something.
Yeah,
crazy like that.
$16.50 or something like that.
It's basically like a glorified food court in a mall or in a, I don't know, an airport or something. I mean, they do have a nice selection of vendors. I really, really was looking forward to trying Curry Up and Walk This Way. Curry with a C, C-U-R-R-Y, and Walk, W-O-K. So I'm big into play on words. I love fancy creative advertising, but we looked up the menu online and it looked like they had quite a good selection. I love Thai food, and I was really looking forward to getting lunch there. They had a real limited menu, right? I didn't get to read the full story, but where I got the cupcake, it looked like it was a owned by a veteran or veterans. And my cupcake was so good. I didn't want something basic, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, so I got this applesauce cupcake that had like either brown butter or brown sugar frosting. I don't know. It was delicious though. It's a unique experience, a one and done kind of thing. What did you think of the, what's it called? Valley Hills?
Oh, the Valley Mills winery.
The winery.
It seems pretty nice.
What did you think of the parking lot? That's
the parking was terrible, and the road to the winery was terrible, and I'm sure the wine's good. We saw mixed reviews online. The building's beautiful. The vineyards are nice. It's not in season for wineries, so there's no grapes on the vines and stuff, but it was still neat. The wine that we wanted to buy, you couldn't buy it because it was a members only wine. Want to join a membership?
Why would I join if I'm just passing through town? We don't live around here. I guess we can't give too much of a review because we didn't really immerse ourselves in the experience of anything other than the parking lot. You come to the split in the road where you can either go right. It says handicap parking to the right. So we go down, we park, we walk through these doors that are like castle doors, or like 2 stories tall, and lo and behold, we go in, and it's like I see the stairway to heaven. It must have been the equivalent of 3 flights of stairs, because it was like on a hill or something. And I'm like, what the? There's no elevators or anything. So there's a sign that says, if you have trouble with these stairs, go to the handicap. Well, that would have been nice to know. So we go back. There's only 2 handicap parking spots. One of them's already taken. We didn't really want to take the other one. My knees were over it. I could not do those stairs. We are pet friendly. We went and parked at the back where we thought we were supposed to park. We got the stroller out, loaded up the dogs, went in, found out there's no way we're going to make those stairs, drove back. We just didn't want to keep getting the dogs out. We just weren't in the mood anymore. I don't want to knock the place. I bet it's a great venue for a wedding or rehearsal dinner. It was real pretty, but I'm just saying that was our experience. Time to relax for the rest of the day. It's more time. Corey made me a pear mimosa. After all that walking around that we did today, it was nice to just veg, enjoy the sunset, toast some marshmallows, drink a little wine, and hang out with my BFF. Good times. We even got to watch lightning bugs. Do y'all want to go watch a sunrise? On the day that we leave, I like to get up extra early before everyone else, watch the sunrise, and just savor every spare minute we have before we have to leave and get back to reality. Hey, little guy. He's just hanging out.
He's just hanging out on there.
Hazel, do you want to go for a walk? She's like deja vu all over again. Waldo, do you want to go for a walk? He's a little more excited, especially since it's not really a walk, it's more of a ride, but we do let them get out and stretch their legs on the trail. Now we're going to walk to the Prairie Pond, which is the other pond I was mentioning earlier in the video. This was actually a path that was a few doors down from our campsite. Nice, easy, leisurely walk. Lots of pretty flowers along the way, too. Hazel is a pro at relaxing. You can also find a place for groups to rest along this path. And here's another burp line. Let's go check it out. Here's a little spider just hanging out, too.
We hit every point of interest on this trip except for the bell, historic bell that they used to call workers for dinner and warn them of storms and stuff. But it's along the path we just took, so we'll have to look for it on the way back.
All right, babe, what'd you think of this park?
It's just real peaceful here. The concrete pads, they got nice gravel for your picnic tables, your fire pits all around. Full hookups, which I didn't know. I just assumed state park, no full hookup, but we drove into Waco yesterday and we were passing, this out here there's not a whole lot, but I kept seeing these big white buildings. I was like, what is that? It's not oil industry, and I could not figure it out. And I didn't see any signs on them or anything. And then, this morning I went to the restroom and stuff, and they got a sign over there, or a poster or whatever, and the billboard saying that if you hear loud noises, Fort Hood's only 20 miles away. They could be doing artillery, or it could be SpaceX launching a rocket. So, and they had some pictures. So all those big buildings were Elon Musk's new SpaceX, based in Texas. So that's kind of cool. And we did notice in one of the small towns, I think it's McGregor or something, a lot of new housing, like right along the road and stuff. And so I think that's where that came from. They moved all these people in for SpaceX and built a whole bunch of new housing in these smaller towns, which is kind of cool. It's good for their economy. So.
I love this park too, and I feel like I finally got a chance to immerse myself in a park. This, I feel like, was our first time to actually stay in the park and walk the trails. We never get to do that any of the places we go, and to see all the points of interest. I'm always going to talk about it from the perspective of somebody that has knee arthritis. The trails were nice and flat. I guess to the tower from where we walked, we started by the restrooms and the camping loop, and that was about a third of a mile, and it was a nice smooth. There was a couple of rocks, but not a big deal. The one that was kind of the hardest on my knees was that cave. It had the steepest elevation and all the rocks, but it also had handrails. Corey found a shortcut to get to the tower, but it did involve kind of going up and down some big rocks, so we didn't go that way. And then we went to the pond today. It was also a nice smooth walk.
Any of the sites are good. That's one good thing here too. A couple of them I like better than the others, but there's not a bad site at this park.
Instead of doing our usual park tour where we drive around and it's kind of bumpy, I decided to just take some pictures of the different campsites. I only took pictures of the ones that were vacant. They're basically all great sites. They're just shaped a little bit different. And I know because of the time of day that I took them, there's a lot of shadow, but you get the idea. There's only one camping loop, and it's full hookup, and there's about 20 sites. I don't believe there are any primitive camping sites, but I could be wrong. I think maybe I just didn't see them if there were. We'll see you on the next adventure. Thanks for watching, and happy camping.